so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
Welcome to Kill the Stigma. So, I'm kind of finding a peaceful place here to kind of talk about the situation, which is a really beautiful, peaceful place here. I think I found it. But, welcome. Here's the deal. I think there's something important going on right now because the truth is, like, look, we're in the brink of World War III. There's chaos everywhere, and somehow you have missing scientists connected to the UFO topic. You have Anna Polina Luna requesting all this footage and data from UAPs, including the February shootdowns. And you have people from Congress talking about disturbing briefings. And you have the mystery drone flap, which is ongoing. I report on that a lot, and I get very frustrated too because I feel like it's super important. Nobody in the community talks about it because of the controversies of, like, are they this, are they that? Bro, I'm telling you, if I'm seeing them in Minnesota and they're getting freaking brought down by lasers in Texas, and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth's house in Washington, D.C., and it's just a little bit frustrating for me because I think these things are everywhere, and that should make it interesting, but nobody talks about it. But, could all these things be connected? Like, what can be causing this whole thing about politics and people talking about disturbing briefings if nothing's going on?
You mentioned the 6 American scientists, and this is where it gets really wild. This is the article that I'm getting ready to drop at NatSec Guy on Emerald.tv. I went in and I found that in mid-March 2026, 3 of China's top defense scientists, Zhao Jingkang, who's a nuclear weapons expert, Wu Manqing, who's a radar and metamaterials expert, Wei Yiyan, who is a missile systems expert, they were all quietly erased from the Chinese Academy of Engineering's website, which means they're no longer among the living. Then, just a few days after that, hypersonics expert Yan Hong, who's one of the key figures working on plasma aerodynamics, died suddenly at just 56 years old. So now what I did is I took that list of 5 Chinese scientists and I paired it with what those 6 American scientists were working on, and they have massive overlap. So what these scientists for the Americans were doing for our military, these 4 or 5 Chinese scientists were doing for their military. So what that tells me is that, and this is the conclusion of, spoiler alert, this is the conclusion of my essay. What this tells me,
I think something is happening, and I'm trying to understand what it is, and I can't right now, because a part of me wants to think it's like something super conspiratorial, like alien related, and it might not be. Like, I think about the 3-body problem and, like, this scientist that started dying. Lou Elizondo, I remember he would tell people back in the day when he was, like, a big deal in UFO Twitter. Now he's very controversial. Back in the day, he had, like, more followers and more people, right? Now, I'm not going to comment where I land on that. Doesn't matter. But he would tell people, well, look, you got to read Chains of the Sea. And behind the scenes, he would tell people, read the 3-body problem. Let's just say that I know people that know him that have told me that. He didn't tell me that himself. But now I heard that there's Chinese scientists that started dying in March of 2026. I saw this on Redacted, by the way. Now, this could be a totally irrational explanation by, like, the scientists in America are killing Chinese scientists and vice versa. Yes, it could be, but it's still kind of weird and fascinating. And the whole thing about this is that you got these freaking people missing, like missing 411. Like the lady that was working on these metals, she said waves goodbye and just disappears hiking, and the dog can't find the trail. And I want to believe that it's aliens so bad. Like part of me is like, bro, Easter 2026, 2027's coming, and I know that's silly, but like a part of me does go there, you know. And even though I know how ridiculous and how that's probably not the case, my brain goes there. And I don't know if anybody else can identify with that. I don't care. Like, I'll admit it, bro. I'll be the guy who's like, yeah, I think about that. But like, seriously, what is causing these people, politicians, who talk about this stuff at such crazy times when we got other stuff going on? I wonder. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick update because I've been kind of MIA. Just because I don't know, man. I just get frustrated with the community and sometimes I need a break. But I did want to comment on this because things are getting fucking weird, bro. Love y'all.
What happened with this two-star general?
He's the guy that was had a lot of nuclear secrets and was allegedly the gatekeeper. And I've been told by several sources that he was the gatekeeper for the UFO stuff. And of course, his family says, "Oh, he didn't have anything to do with UFO." But these people are people of honor.
Well, they didn't want to die either.
Yeah, and they don't tell their family. So their family isn't a target.
And Congressman, I understand there's others too, right? I was seeing that there's like a whole bunch of scientists that are also tied to some top secret stuff.
Yes, ma'am. The lady that disappeared, she had a lot to do with the metallurgy, the top secret metallurgy that we use in some of our missiles and stuff. I mean, it all just kind of fits together. And it's a very small fraternity. And when anytime one of them, something happens to one, the others are take note of it. And I was briefed this past week, and I'll just say that that group is very nervous. They are very nervous about what's going on.
That people are missing. We got dudes shot on their front porch and nobody can find out who killed them. We got, Air Force colonels or generals just going missing. We got scientists coincidentally dying or being murdered, but no suspects. So 8 people connected to aerospace and engineering and architecture and all this different weaponry stuff. The things that, Tim, we've all been hearing about since Roswell, Area 51, Wright-Patterson down in Dayton, my home state of Ohio. We've been hearing about this stuff now for 70 years. That we have it, we don't have it. That we've re-engineered it, no, we haven't. I know you can't talk about much because you're an active member, but just give me a wink. Are we alone?
No, we're not. We're not.
Holy,
alone.
Wait a minute. Did we just break that? Wait a minute. Is that April Fool's today, Tim?
No, it's second. No, we are not alone. Every time I go to one of these departments, one of these alphabet agencies, Dan, they tell me, I mean, you're a reporter, you get it. Mm-hmm. You have one guy will tell me one thing, and then somebody in the next cubicle over will tell me the other. I'm watching something on NASA the other day, and they're saying, "Oh, we don't have any proof of anything." And I'm like, "What was that briefing I was in about?" And and it's just, and some little smart aleck with a man bun comes in there and starts telling you stuff. And you read people, Dan. I mean, you've been in the military. You got the guys that are high up, and their chests look like a dadgum license plate out of New Jersey or something. They got every dadgum medal you can think of. And they're just sitting there, and and you can read them like a book. They're thinking, this little punk civilian needs to just shut up, And,
right. Stay out of our business.
And I had a discussion with President Trump, and I said, look, you need to put this stuff out. And we were on another trajectory, so I couldn't really talk about that. But I feel convinced he's the guy to do it, because it's going to have to happen at that level. And one other thing I want to tell you, Dan.
Yeah.
It's probably entitled one of my many books. You know,
Whenever
the
you write
president- the president is on a need to know basis.
We've heard that,
somebody
right?
Say that. I heard somebody tell me that in a meeting, and I just thought, apparently you don't know my president.
Yeah, because he wants to know everything, and you better tell him, damn it. That's interesting that you say that. And, you know, we've got about 3 years left of 47, and I'd love to see 4 more after that. But anyway, he would be the guy to do it. I don't know if right now would be the time till we wrap up Iran, till we get the interest rates down, hopefully in May when the new Fed chair goes in, the economy starts spiking really big time in the third and fourth quarter. And then maybe, you know, maybe for Christmas, if we're doing well, he just kind of slam dunks the, hey, by the way, I opened up Area 51 and here's 2 ships and half a body and a whole body, and we've been using their lift for our F-35. Like, come on, man, give me something, Tim. I mean, we don't make all them movies up just because somebody's creative in Hollywood and knows how to write that crap. They're getting this from somewhere.
Let me leave you with this one, Dan.
Okay.
I was in a meeting, and I'll just leave it at that as a meeting because I have a lot of meetings. Yeah, and if that was allowed to be told in the public, the wheels would come off. They
The
would
truth
come off because every detractor was put in their place. I'll just leave it at that.